Good afternoon, YouTube. My name is Swamp Penguin, and welcome to Legalese for Newbies, episode 7. And today we're going to be taking civil procedure, and we're going to start with something I did promise to talk about the last time I talked about civil procedure, which was jurisdiction in the person. Like I said, jurisdiction is the authority over a court has over the person and the matter at hand. Without jurisdiction over the person, the decisions are non-binding, and that can be annulled. You're going to always find that most of the cases, actually 99.9% of all the cases that have to do with jurisdiction in personam, is not about the plaintiffs, if not the defendant. That means the person that the plaintiff wants to bring the action to. Because it's always assumed that the moment a person starts an action in a location, it's always assumed that the person has submitted himself to the jurisdiction of the court. That said, there are certain limits. You have 5 different matters. Sorry, the house, it needs a little. This is not my usual place. As you can see, there are 4 types of contacts that you can have for jurisdiction in personam. Physical presence, which is you being in the same place. Having a representative agent. Matters, special civic matters, which is like divorce settlements and specifically child custody and payments. And then there's minimum contacts. I could be wrong right now. I have the review somewhere here. I'm actually making a review about that, and I'll teach. And there's a video about that. Anyway, minimum contacts started out with in the United States, and we've taken that rule in Puerto Rico, which is Pennoyer versus Neff. I call that one the cowboy case because it deals a lot more with someone buying a property, and then the person alleges that the state doesn't have any jurisdiction over it because he's never been to the place. And that one establishes what is minimum contacts. I'm not going to discuss minimum contacts here. It's a very long subject. Let's see. In Puerto Rico, presence isn't exactly. This place is a really tiny island. Physical presence isn't gonna be a problem unless you go to the United States. Let's see. There have been cases where the person, Shuler. The one to keep in mind when discussing jurisdiction, either in the United States or in Puerto Rico, is Shuler versus Shuler. It's about custody hearings in which the parent who has the kids alleges that the Puerto Rico does not have jurisdiction over the matter of child custody. Let's keep in mind when you're dealing with child custody, and remember this, this is purely academic. When you deal with child custody, you basically submit yourself to the forum that made the decision. In this case, the decision was made not in Puerto Rico, not in the Virgin Islands, but in Virginia. And the decision and all decisions pertaining to that matter, to that particular matter, in that case, the jurisdiction cannot go to Puerto Rico just because it's physical presence. The physical presence is here in Puerto Rico. It has to go, all child custody matters go to Virginia. And that's how the case fell. The decision, the First Circuit, I could say, the first court decision said, it has jurisdiction. No. That means that it has to be revoked. The case has to be revoked. Another case, jurisdiction personam. There are very few cases that deal with with jurisdiction personam, at least from what I've discussed, and they don't have to do with minimum context. It is disturbing. But I have enough time. I can explain what minimum context is. Minimum context is, like I said, it started out in Pennoyer versus Neff, and it tells us what is the minimum requirement of context a person needs to be taking advantage of the forum at hand. Forum means court. In this case, in the case of, I think it was there's a case here, and let me look for it here. Jurisdiction. Shuler versus Shuler. My professor's gonna murder me if I don't get this right. Okay, the case here is about an accident in the other side of the island. It's called Colegio, and it's about a student that got hurt because of a faulty equipment. Now, that's one case, and it deals with and it's a very complete. This case is very complete in the sense that it demonstrates what requirements are needed for minimum context. There are three rules according to A.H. Thomas versus Court of Puerto Rico. In Spanish, it's H. Thomas versus Tribunal. Like I said, all these cases are in public record. You can actually look for them in either the Supreme Court or in the libraries, in law libraries. Most law libraries do have Supreme Court cases of that state stored in there. So it's alright. 3 rules. The defendant, non-resident, minimum context applies mostly on non-residents of that state. It needs to, like I said, it's the requirement that you need for establishing if there's someone taking advantage of the forum. In that case, outsiders. The first thing you have to do is that it did positive acts in which it takes advantage. Like, let's say, it's not just, oh, I bought something or I sold you something. It has to be a continuous transmit of transactions that keep going back and forth. And the person and the defendant is actually taking advantage of it. The other one is that, and the cause of the damages, or in this case, damages, and of the action, of the court action, must come around from those actions. Like, in this case, A.H. Thomas was alleged to have been selling back and forth to the materials, and the materials were faulty, and yada, yada, yada. Remember, jurisdiction over the person is going to be always going to be to the defendant, to the person that is getting the action served to him. Because and that establishes and it's actually one of the first defenses one should ever put up, and you should always look for if the person alleges that there is no jurisdiction over his person. Because, like I said, with the duck analogy, a court decision without jurisdiction is a dead duck. It's a fatal clause, and it is decided with prejudice. What that means, decided with prejudice, means that it's done. There's going to be a barrier there, and it's matter decided. I hope this has been on a good video. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want me to discuss a certain topic, please leave a comment down below, and I will get to it. I will try to always get to it. And I wish you all good night. Good luck, and may the odds be forever in your favor, as they say in the Hunger Games. Bye!